setting free? Does the beat take you over? You just can't breathe. Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake?
What's up, guys? Sarah Benjamin here for another video. As usual, I'm here with my good friend Ty. Guys, I just started a half guard segment on my channel, so I put a basic 101 pass up as my last video. But it's basic, but it definitely has a lot of advanced principles and concepts that I'm going to be referring to in this video a little bit. So if you want to, check that out first and then you'll understand this better. The reason that I went into the half guard segment was because recently I put a match breakdown that a lot of people viewed, and I got a bunch of messages asking me how to basically nullify the half guard, because in one of my matches it was open weight, the guy was like 210, I'm like 143, and I was able to nullify his half guard. And then at a lot of my other matches, it's kind of the way that I like to play my game. I play a very mobile game, and when somebody's in half guard, I actually like to give them the underhook a lot of times, depending on their level, to nullify it with backstep. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about a lot. So we're going to be looking at nullifying the underhook getup from half guard, which in my opinion is the most popular and most effective sweep. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, gotta find the right angle here. So we're going to start here in half guard. Guys, so my opponent in today's video is going to have the dominant position. He's going to have the underhook, right? And he's on his side. So guys, anytime my opponent achieves a good underhook like this and my knee is not clear, so for example, he still has his legs above my knee line, the first thing that I do is pin his wrist. I pin his wrist particularly with my palm down. Like this. I don't like this grip. I feel like it's easier for him to circle and get out of. Just like that. So I like to pin it this way. Now he tries to circle. I have more control. Just enough control to maintain my balance and not allow him to come up. Because what is he trying to do? He's trying to get to this elbow and he's trying to come up. So we're going to look at that too. But here I pin his wrist. Now what I'm going to do is look at what I have. Let's scoot back just like an inch. So what do I have? I have head control with this hand, although you can't see it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a back step. But the most important thing about the back step is not that it's an acrobatic back step or that it's a huge back step. The most important thing about the back step is that at the same time that I go to initiate my back step, I lunge myself forward to get above my opponent. So let's turn. So watch what I'm going to do, guys. When I back step, I come forward prior to back stepping. This makes it more difficult for him to follow me, because if Ty uses his left leg as I step back from here and extends it, he's going to catch me and take my back. Biggest mistake I see people make with the back step. So what do? I use this hand. That's another reason I like this palm down grip, and this hand to come forward. So right, he's got his underhook. I feel like he's trying to come up. I hold him here. I come forward. Now, once I come forward, I bring my knee as close to my stomach and chest as possible, and I step it around. So what I don't do is open my leg like this, right? So it's a subtle detail, but it's really important. I don't do this, because he'll catch. I do bring my knee up and step it this way. Right now, I'm kind of in this position where I'm floating on him. My hip is on his hip. So what do? If you notice Ty is on his right hip, I need to force him to his left hip or flat to his back. Either one is fine. So how do I do that? I'm going to put a lot of weight underneath my hamstring. I'm going to bring my leg down as I let my hip slide off like this. Okay, now I just changed the dynamic of the match completely. Now I have head control. I like to control underneath the armpit, and I like to pull my opponent to me. Right? Again, for the sake of demonstration, my head is up so I can speak to the camera. But if my head's up, he's probably framing. So what do? My head is low. Remember that. Your head is low, guys. Now I control his pants, and I'm going to force him to his left hip. I do so by using my left leg to scoot diagonally. I don't scoot to the side. I scoot diagonally, like this. At the same time that I scoot diagonally, I'm putting weight on the back of my knee. I'm putting a lot of weight on the back of my knee. I'm pulling my opponent to me. So what am I doing? I'm misaligning his spine. My shoulder is forcing Ty to look that way. I'm keeping his shoulders on the mat, but I'm making his hip turn, like so. Now it's very uncomfortable and it's very difficult for him to hold half guard. So let's turn. Let's go this way. So again, he's in half guard. He's above my knee. He's got the underhook. I pin the wrist. I come forward. I bring my back step up, right? Boom, boom. And now I'm here. I'm very comfortable here. I wrap his head and armpit. Now look, I slide down and pull his pants to me. All this happens at once. I move quick. Now I'm in this position. Let's turn. Turn. Ugh. All right, so now we're here. Now it's very uncomfortable for him. Now, whether or not I pass here, it's a different story. I typically end up passing, but I've been doing this for a while. But when I first started doing this, it was purely to nullify the underhook. I was getting swept very often from the underhook getup, and some guys have such a good squeeze here that I wouldn't pass, but guess what? They never swept me. So I started to learn how to float and move around half guard. So my first pass that I try to do is I hold the pants, I scoot diagonally, and I try to kick his bottom leg or top leg. I normally kick the bottom leg and just bring my leg out like this. And then guys, I keep really low, and this is my favorite way to apply shoulder pressure. I lift my hip, tighten your jaw, and I push my shoulder into him like this. Very important that your hip is off the ground. Let's turn. So guys, my hip stays off the ground. Same thing when he has me in half guard. If I'm really putting pressure, I don't want to like hurt Ty. I'm like this the whole time, guys. Hip off the ground. Hip off the ground unless I'm trying to free my leg. But if I'm not, I'm keeping that pressure heavy. So that's pass number one. So let's look at the whole thing. He's here. I pin this. I come forward. I step back. I'm here. And I get here like this. I get the gi. I pull him into me. I grab the top of his pants. I scoot diagonally, kick. And then I put that pressure, right? I'm up. So that's our first variation. Now let's look at a second variation of when he's actually on his elbow, which surprisingly and shockingly to a lot of people I prefer. And then we're going to talk about another variation of the back step where we use it to get back to a regular half guard pass. So this variation, we're in half guard. Let's turn this way. And now he got the underhook and he sat up to his elbow. Just like that. Let's turn a little. First thing I do is I hug inside the back of his gi. Right on the armpit. Why? Because I'm going to use this grip to get my back step. Now I know he's trying to come up, so now very quickly I try to lunge myself forward and actually clear my knee this time. Like this. Right? If he stays up, that's more realistic. And then look, I step back, and then same thing, I bring him down. Really hard, guys. Right, I'm pulling him to me. And then I go back to that same pass. Scoot diagonally, try to kick my knee out and pass. Being realistic, because I don't like to sugarcoat things, that pass can be difficult if they clamp their knees really tight. So again, as soon as he gets the underhook, gets to his elbow, I'm here. Again, he gets the underhook, gets to his elbow, I'm here. Right? So it's gotta be quick, guys. You gotta counter that or he's gonna get up. It's not like I let him get to his elbow and I hang out. The minute he gets to his elbow is the minute that I backstep. So now, let's look at what we do if we can't get our leg out. So back to square one, we were here, and we step back, right? And we can't get our leg out. So we're like this. Guys, first off, the most important thing is to get your knee out. Getting your knee out is pretty easy. Grab his pants, scoot diagonally, and push. It's your ankle and your foot that end up getting trapped. So when your ankle and foot get trapped, you're going to take your left hand and you're going to underhook. But as you underhook, the same time, you're going to come to your knees to a 3/4 mount. So I underhook, come to my knees, and now look, both my knees are on the mat. Now I have two ways that I pass from here. The first way, I feel bad for Ty's jaw. I'm going to try to go easy. I put my forehead on the mat. Right, I come up. This leg pummels in. Like in my last video where I explained you push down, not to the side. So for example, my left leg pushes down, not to the side like this. And I get my leg out. And then I like to pummel to knee on belly. I prefer knee on belly. The second thing, when I'm here, is I come to my knees as I get the underhook. And now I have to look at what I have, guys. In this case, my underhook is on his right side. It's on my free leg. Traditional half guard passing, our underhook is here. Right? It's on our trapped leg. So since that's going on, look what I do, guys. I'm going to still come down to the mat with my forehead. I'm going to bring my left leg through, and I'm going to hook. I'm going to hook his hip. And now look, I'm going to push down almost like a sprawl with my left leg as I get my right leg out. Like this. Right? And now I just pummel my leg and I pass his guard. So let's turn and let's look at that this way. So now we're in half guard. Right? Maybe he got to his elbow. I get to here. I back step. I have to get my knee out, guys. I push, I get my knee out. Right? Once I get my knee out, I have good base here. I'm pressuring his head. Simultaneously, as I dig an underhook with my free hand, my knee, my right knee, opposite of my underhook hand, is going to go to the mat. 3/4 mount, guys. So look like this. First pass, basic pass. Push here, push down, get out. Second pass, left knee comes through and across his body. But it's very important that you hook, guys. You see my left toes hook? Now I touch my left knee to the mat, slide it down the mat as I get my leg out. Keep this hook firm because he's going to go crazy. And then when he calms down, we pass the guard. So these are, in my opinion, the easiest ways to implement that back and forth backstep passing system where you're trying to get one or the other. And a lot of times it ends up looking like you're here in half guard, he gets the underhook, you step back, you try to get your knee out, you get your knee out, he repummels the underhook and shoves you right to the side this way. You step back again, you bring him back down, you get the underhook, finally you have the pressure, you come through, you slide, and you can pass. Right? Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes you gotta float, back step, back to half, back step, back to half. I don't want to sugarcoat and say, this is the end all be all, like you're gonna do this and kill your opponent. We all know that's not true. But when you learn how to move back and forth with that back step, the half guard becomes way less intimidating. And in the future, we're going to be making more videos. This half guard segment's probably going to carry on for a while because it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, guards to pass. And we're going to be looking at different variations of this reverse half guard that we forced today with the back step. So just to give you a preview, one of my favorite ways to pass the half guard is sometimes if I can pin this wrist high, as I step back, I pummel this hand in, and I get what we call a reverse underhook. Right? And from the reverse underhook, I can pass, I can force him to turtle, right? I can take his back, right? Go back to reverse underhook. So I can be here, I can roll for the back take. There's a lot of different things that we can do with that reverse underhook, which we're going to do another video on that, how we get it, how we use it. And then there's different switch-based passes. We got a lot coming for you, but these two last videos, half guard passing 101 and then backstep passing 101, pretty much I wanted to get out there because it's the stuff a lot of people ask for. But we got a lot more coming. Stay tuned. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe. I'm going to stop rambling. Thanks so much, guys. Os.
Take you